Around 269 million people used drugs worldwide in 2018, which is 30% more than in 2009, while over 35 million people suffer from drug use disorders according to the latest World Drug Report released by the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. The report also analyzes the impact of COVID-19 on the drug markets, and while its effects are not yet fully known, border and other restrictions linked to the pandemic have already caused shortages of drugs on the street, leading to increased prices and reduced purity. Vulnerable and marginalized groups, youth, women, and the poor pay the price for the world drug problem. The COVID-19 crisis and economic downturn threaten to compound drug dangers further still. When our health and social systems have been brought to the brink and our societies are struggling to cope, said UNODC Executive Director Ghada.
Our world is changing beyond imagination. Societies already marked by inequality have been left poorer and more fragile by the COVID-19 crisis. As people struggle amidst the pandemic, drugs, organized crime, corruption and terrorism are posing ever greater dangers. To build forward from the crisis, governments need to protect lives and livelihoods from these threats. As part of integrated responses to recover better, leave no one behind, and achieve the Sustainable Development Goals.
UNODC's Children's Project was developed to promote a worldwide coordinated response to children and adolescents at risk of using drugs and youth affected by drug use dependence. The project goals include addressing the health and social consequences for children, preventing drug use, treating drug dependence, facilitate their reintegration and contribution to the larger community. Answering a call from PM Narendra Modi to ensure a Nasha Mukta Bharat or drug-free India, the National Commission for Protection of Child Rights has joined hands with the Narcotics Control Bureau and released a joint action plan on prevention of drug and substance abuse among children and illicit trafficking.
Om Namah Shivaya. First of all, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Vismaya and I'm studying in 10th B. Today, June 26th is celebrated as International Day Against Drug Abuse. It is United Nations International Day which is against drug abuse and illegal drug trade. It is celebrated annually on 26 June since 1989. It is celebrated by people from different countries together, campaigns, rallies, posted a sign and many other programs are held on this day. As the use of drug increases, this day becomes more important. The UN's 2007 World Drug Report puts the value of illegal drug trade at 322 billion per year. This day is dedicated to eradicate the drug abuse and to neutralize the systematic challenges which sustain illegal drug issues. This day is also meant to commemorate Lynch issues efforts against the opium trade in China right just before first opium war in China mainland. This day is also used as a day to stimulate the sense of responsibility and dangers of drugs among the people around the world, especially youngsters and teenagers. Drug abuse, however, not only includes the consumption of drugs but also includes the prescription of medications such as sleeping pills and painkillers. This may cause many diseases to our internal organs, may cause cancer and even cause mental problems and even lead to death. This should be stopped. Even a lot of cases are reported in our states itself. Even a lot of students are using these drugs nowadays and we should stop this. Then only we can build a strong world. So we should protest against this and stop using drugs. Then we can build a healthy and strong world so we can save our world. Thank you.
Namshaya, I am Abhinav Menon from Methi. Today I will be talking on the topic of drug abuse. The word drug, when it is come to one's mind is taken in a negative sense as it is often misused. Drug abuse changes a person's brain chemistry, and the longer one uses it, the more damages they possess for themselves. We have been experiencing an alarming increase of drug abuse among the youngsters in recent years. Every now and then we read in newspapers that teens are being helped for consuming drugs, and not of them are usually aged between 17 and 20. The parents should try to motivate their children and understand what they really want in life. Every children is different from the other, and parents should really try to understand their children's expectations to avoid any cases related to alcohol or drug abuse. Thank you.
Drug addiction is a complex disorder that affects nearly every aspect of an individual's life, including their family, work, school, relationships, and community. Detoxification and medically managed withdrawal. Detoxification is usually the first step in drug addiction treatment. During detox, the body clears itself of drugs and undergoes a period of withdrawal that produces uncomfortable and sometimes even fatal side effects. Behavioral treatment. Behavioral treatments helps patients modify their attitudes and behaviors related to drug abuse and increase healthy life skills. Individualized drug counseling. In addition to focusing on stopping drug or alcohol use, individualized drug counseling also addresses areas such as employment status, illegal activity, family and social relationships, and the patient's recovery. Group counseling. Group therapies allows individuals to share their experiences in a group setting of their peers and receive education and support from a trained guidance counselor.
When a person is under the influence of drugs, then he forgets everything and enters a situation like trance. However, it is only later that people feel that the use of drugs only increases the problem and actually does not help them in getting rid of stress. Many times, people start taking drugs because their friends are addicted to them. However, once they start taking it, it becomes really hard for them to get rid of this habit. Clearly, not every person that tries alcohol or drugs will become addicted to them. Many people drink alcohol socially without having a problem with it. The same goes for recreational drugs, but some people have underlying factors such as genetics, mental health disorders, and other issues that serve as a stimulus for relying on drugs or alcohol to get them through the day. The day becomes a week, and then a month, and then a year, and before they know it, they need to self medicate to get through life. How to say no to drug? Prevention is the key. This may sound like it's a cliche, but it is nevertheless true. Prevention is the best way to keep people from becoming addicted to drugs. When it comes to drugs and alcohol consumption, holding the notion that I will do it only once may prove to be quite dangerous. Experimenting with drugs and alcohol can lead to addiction and may ruin physical and mental health of an individual. Staying away from drugs and alcohol is the only way to positively prevent drug addiction. Stop drugs, start living a healthier life.
Namaskar respected principal and teachers. Today, as you all know, is 26 June, the day which is celebrated against drug abuse and illicit trafficking all over the world. So, we, the students of 10th, are here to speak a few words about this topic. On 7 December 1987, the General Assembly decided to observe 26 June as the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking all over the world, as an expression of determination to achieve the goal of international society which was free from drug abuse. And each year, many individuals like yourself from various communities and organizations all over the world join together to raise awareness of major problems of drug abuse and illicit trafficking all around the globe. By the UN's report, each year the value of illegal drug trades is about $322 billion. But why? Why so high? You may think. This is because small children of age group 13 to 21 are in the trap of these drugs. They are so addicted to these drugs that they are even transporting them to various places all around the globe.
At the teenage period, children doesn't know what is good or what is bad for them, so they fall on this dangerous trap.
At the time of this pandemic, children are locked in their houses and they don't have any friends to play with them or go anywhere to spend their time. So they slowly become addicted to these drugs. But COVID-19 has also brought unprecedented public awareness on health, protective measures for staying healthy, and most importantly, on protecting each other. Young people often start with just tasting of these drugs and then end up by getting addicted to it. They do this due to various reasons. They consume it sometimes because of unfair expectations and stress. The drugs make them feel high and its after all effects are quite relaxing. But its effects in the long run can damage their brain, liver, etc. Students also get into this drug addiction when they fail to get emotional support. So they turn themselves towards drugs to claim their agitation and anger. Poverty is also one of the main reasons behind the drug selling network. Drug sellers target students and make them addicted to drugs. Initially, they give drugs to the students for free, and once they get addicted, they start charging them. They also target poor children and make them sell drugs in order to earn some money.
Did you know what is illicit trafficking? Illicit means illegal, and the term illicit trafficking can be defined as illegal trading, selling, or dealing in specific illegal goods. Illicit trafficking of drugs is an evil in our society and disorientation among a majority of youth. And the General Assembly at the United Nations in December 1987 decided 26 June to be celebrated as International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking, and it was encouraged by UNODC. The consequences of drug trafficking include retardation of fetal growth and fetal alcohol symptoms, and the violation and crime are linked to illicit drugs abuse through the often violent nature of the drug sales and distribution. So we have to prevent drug trafficking by following ways: global operation against drug trafficking and assistance to ongoing investigations, the criminal analysis of intelligence or drug trafficking routes and the criminal network involved, comprehensive training for police worldwide better to stop drug trafficking.
Good morning everyone. Warm greetings to all of you. Today we are here to discuss about the fatal consumption of drugs and how it is destroying the lives of our youth. But before the discussion begins, I would like to deliver a short speech on drug abuse and would like to enlighten the students on this sensitive subject matter. Drugs, as we all know, are an illegal matter which some people drink, smoke, inject or eat for mental as well as physical effects that it leaves. There are several students who consume drugs out of fun or for various other reasons. People who deal in the selling of drugs create a network and mainly target students in order to make them addicted to drugs. Initially, the drugs are sold to students for free, and gradually, when they get addicted to it, they start buying and consuming it. In fact, the students also eventually become a part of their network and start dealing in it. Drug addiction has become a worldwide problem, especially in teenagers. Many young people become dependent on different types of substances and stimulating medicines that comes hand in hand with narcotic effect. The life of addicts becomes spoiled in all aspects as they lose contact with their family and live in a different world. They spend lots of money on drugs and then look for ways to earn money illegally. If we compare the health problems, there are many dangerous effects of drugs. The psychological effect of drug addiction can be difficult to endure, and this is why the addict must be treated for their condition. In fact, there are many cases too where even rehabilitation centers fail because of the worst conditions of the patients. I therefore request all students to refrain themselves completely from the consumption of drugs before it destroys their health, future and take away our lives. Drugs can even destroy a complete generation. So think wise and act smart. Shape your future, which seems bright and full of achievements. I want to conclude by saying that drug abuse should be an absolute no for all, and I sincerely hope that our students will never try to consume drugs and will completely stay away from its use. Remember that our country needs you and you are the future and harbinger of progress. Thank you.
Drug addiction is a very serious threat the youth is facing today. The young generation, regardless of the warnings and alerts, falls prey to drugs. It is sad to notice that many brilliant individuals are misled and reach the world of drugs. This may be various reasons for the youth to get addicted to drugs. Lack of proper care and attention may be one of them. Parents with a busy work schedule often find no time and space to look after their kids and nurture their talents. Such children, while growing up, go astray and find happiness in drugs and other evils. Sometimes their own friends mislead them. They are easy to experience the unexperienced. Once addicted, it is really difficult to bring them back to normal life. The addicted ones lose interest in studies and daily activities of life. They don't care about the family bond and are ready to go to any extent to fulfill their needs. They lose their mental balance, act violently, and become antisocial elements. Our children and youth would be thoroughly made aware about the effects of drugs. They should know that drugs ruin out only the individuals but families and society also. They should know that they are the pillars to build up a strong nation. Let us all take a pledge to use our potential for the progress of our nation.
Drug addiction has become a worldwide problem, especially in teenagers. Many young people become dependent on different types of substances and stimulating medicines that comes hand in hand with narcotic effect. The life of addicts becomes spoiled in all aspects as they lose contact with their family and live in a different world. They spend lots of money on drugs. If we compare the health problems, there are many dangerous effects. Drug addiction is basically a brain disease that changes the functioning of brain. There is an uncontrollable desire to consume drugs, as a result of which addicted people engage in compulsive behavior to take drugs. The addicts find it impossible to control the intake of drugs, as a result of which they fail to fulfill day-to-day responsibilities in efficient manner.
Drug addiction has become a worldwide problem, especially among the youth. Many youth in our country become dependent on different types substance and stimulating medicines that comes hand in hand with narcotic effect. The life of such addicts becomes spoiled in all aspects. It can cause the brain hurt and other organs and ultimately death.
The use of illegal drugs or the use of prescription or over-the-counter drugs for purposes other than those for which they are meant to be used or in excessive amounts, drug abuse may lead to social, physical, emotional and job-related problems. Effects of drug abuse: seizures, stroke, mental confusion and brain damage, lung disease, problems with memory, attention and decision making which make daily living more difficult. Global effects of drug on the body such as breast development in men and increases in body temperature which can lead to other health problems. Prevention is better than cure. Parental monitoring and supervision are critical for drug abuse prevention. These skills can be enhanced with training on rule setting, techniques for monitoring activities, praise for appropriate behavior, and moderate consistent discipline that enforces defined family rules. Detoxification is normally the first step in treatment. This involves clearing a substance from the body and limiting withdrawal reactions. In 80% of cases, a treatment clinic will use meditations to reduce withdrawal symptoms, according to the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Service Administration. Drug treatment can include behavioral therapy, medications, or their combination.
Be smart, don't use drugs.